Alright, what's up everybody, we're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're doing a tier list. It's the first tier list I've done since the off season, since the NBA season started. It's the first time I'm doing a tier list. I just want to do something different today. We're going to be ranking and putting all NBA teams into a tier list, but this one is based on how fun they are. So far it's been about 20-ish games of the season. We're kind of getting engaged on how these teams really are going to be like throughout the entirety of the year. So we're going to rank all these teams based on how fun they are. Watchability, basically, is what we're ranking these teams are. It doesn't have to do with record or anything like that. Well, maybe a little bit of record, but just like how fun they are watching them. Alright, thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So, yeah, I'll explain a little bit of my thinking behind each tier. So I have S tier, which is these are the funnest teams to watch when they're on. You know, when on TV, I'm giving them a look. They're on, I'm like, oh, this team's on, I gotta see it. S tier, A tier is kind of like they're fun. You know, they're maybe not, you know, top tier elite. Everything is super fun, but they're still a really fun team to watch. B tier is like, all right, they're leaning toward the side of fun. You know, you look at the team leaning toward the side of good basketball, good fun. C tier is kind of like, all right, they're average. Like, they're not super fun, but they're not boring. They're just kind of there. They're average. D tier is kind of like, they're a little below average of fun. You know, maybe, you know, some nights you get once in a while you get a good thing, but that's just kind of like, okay. And then F tier, this is the low tier. When this team's on, I'm probably not watching. Probably not watching. All right, and these are my personal opinions, by the way. If you think differently, you know, that's all good. But yeah, let's get started. So the Atlanta Hawks. I would probably put them in between the B and C tier, just because, or maybe even A, honestly. They score a lot of points. They're top 5 in points score. They score a lot of points. You see a lot of offense in these games. Trae Young now is starting to wake up. You know, they have some games sometimes with DeJounte Murray and stuff. Really, Trae Young going off. They hit a lot of threes, take a lot of threes. They play really fast. Not a very good defense. So they have the recipes of being a fun team. I think they're kind of average in their record. Sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. So they're between A and B. I don't think they're elite tier fun, but when their offense is going, especially when Trae Young is going. When Trae Young is going, it's very fun to watch him. So I'll put him in probably about the A or I'll put him in B tier, just because you do get those nights sometimes with them. If Trae Young isn't shooting the ball well and stuff like that, sometimes, you know. Boston is an interesting team when you're based on fun, because they're a really good team. They're one of the best teams, arguably the best team in the league right now. Are they fun? I mean, when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going off, it's fun. You know, they do take a lot of threes, so they will have some games where they hit like 20 threes, and it's like, oh, shoot. But they also, again, they do rely a lot on the three ball, which is kind of give or take, because sometimes like they're in, but sometimes they're just chucking sometimes. So they do have players that should be fun though, like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. If Tatum's going off for like 40 or Jaylen Brown, then it's fun. And when they're blowing teams out sometimes. But I'll put them in kind of like the B tier, I guess. They're like a little bit above average of fun. I don't say they're the funnest, but you know, they're pretty good. Next up, the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are a team that I feel like is a little bit more fun than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of fun sometimes and to watch, see, like, you know, like teams that maybe don't have a superstar, but just have a bunch of really good players, just try to makeshift. Because sometimes it's fun to see that, because you see a lot of ball movement. A lot of that you have nights where Cam Thomas goes for 40. You have nights where Mikal Bridges goes for 40. You have nights where Spencer Dinwiddie has 28. You have nights where Cam Johnson has 25. You have nights where maybe someone like Dorian Finney-Smith or Royce O'Neal hits 7 threes. Like, you know, so it's fun. The unpredictability, I think, is fun, where you're like, you don't know who's gonna go off on any given night. They take a lot of threes. They take a lot of threes. Sometimes they don't have a lot of ball movement, which leads to one-on-one ISO game. You know, honestly, about now, I think I'll move the Hawks up to A, and I think I'll put the Nets probably. I'll put the Nets in between B and C for me, because I don't think they're super fun yet. Because there are going to be some games that are going to get blown out and not going to look good, just because they do have a lot of injuries too. I'll put them in kind of like I will put them in like the C tier. I think they're average team to watch. They're not super fun, but I think they're average. The Hornets. It's also tough because LaMelo got hurt. When LaMelo was there, that's really the only reason to watch the Hornets. You know, they've had some fun games like against Boston. The overtime game they won, that was a really fun game. Against the Pacers, I think they had a game too where it was really back and forth. They lost, or they won that game. It was really fun. The Nets game that they played the other day with Terry Rozier came back and closed them out. That was a kind of fun game. This team should be a lot more fun, more watchable than it is though, and it is a kind of a bad team with a bad roster. So I'll put them. If they don't have LaMelo, I'm putting them in D. Even though it shouldn't be like that, but it's just sometimes like, you know, I mean, you'll get your nights if LaMelo's not playing. I mean, you'll get your nights maybe where Terry Rozier has 30. Okay, Miles Bridges has a good game, but after that, it's like, who else do I want to watch? Gordon Hayward? I don't know. The Bulls. I'm probably in F tier when you watch them. They're just not a good team. They did have a really good game win against Milwaukee the other day, where DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine didn't play, and they beat the Bucks because the NBA is weird like that. But most nights, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of fun out of these teams, you know, like out of the Bulls. Because I think they suck, and we all kind of all know that it's going to blow up, and they're going to get traded. So we're just waiting for the inevitable to happen. It's not happening yet. But they don't really have a lot of, like, fun games or, like, watchable. Like, when you watch this team, you can tell, like, yeah, this team sucks. You know, the Cavaliers, interesting one. They're more of a defensive-oriented team. You know, they're a really good defense team. A lot of their games, it's not like they're scoring 125 in their games. And mostly probably scoring about in the mid 100s to 110 or low 110s games. Where the funnest moments are when Donovan Mitchell is dropping 40 and Darius Garland has 30. But after that, their play style just isn't that fun because they do have two bigs that kind of clog up the paint, and their offense does get a little junky sometimes. But they do have really good defense, so it's tough because if you like watching defense, then Cavs probably a team for you. But I'll put them as a Cavs fan as well, so I watch them a lot. But I'm taking all that out of it. If I was just a regular NBA like whatever fan and the Cavs are on, I might give it a try just because maybe you can have, again, that night where Donovan Mitchell drops 40, or a night where Darius Garland is going off, or a night where Max Strus hits 7 threes, or Evan Mobley's doing things, you know? But I'll put them... I think they're kind of similar to, like, the Celtics, not in a weird way where, like, they're good, but they're not, like, super fun to watch, but they're good. So I'll put them... Comparing them to the Nets, would I rather watch the Cavs or the Nets play? Probably the Cavs. So I'll put them in B. Dallas. I would put Dallas at least B, just because Luka Doncic. You never know what night Luka you never know what night Luka is gonna pop off and do something crazy. So I feel like you always have, and with Kyrie Irving as well. Like those are two must-watch players, you know. So I'll put the Mavericks in A. Watchability. Like they do take a lot of threes, but mainly it's like Luka going one-on-one, and Luka, you know, is a reason to watch basketball. The Nuggets might be S tier, dang near. I don't know. Maybe they might be A. I don't know. Because the offense, Nikola Jokic is amazing. They just watching the game is just like, damn, it's refreshing. Because there's a lot of ball movement. It's not just one dude going one-on-one or them chucking up 43s. It's like ball movement, player movement. Jokic dominating Jamal Murray when he's hot. Michael Porter Jr., you know, is hitting threes, coming off screens. Aaron Gordon is coming off screens, dunking down low. The bench even brings a lot. So, comparing the Nuggets, I'll put them in S, just because their ball movement, their team, their player movement is just super, you know, fun to watch when Jokic is dominating, man. Jamal Murray, and when he's hot, you know. The Detroit Pistons, F tier. We don't even talk about it. They've lost 17 games in a row. I don't know why you would watch the Detroit Pistons right now. The Warriors. I put the Warriors between A and B. I feel like if this was 2 years ago in their prime, they would be S tier, obviously. But now, I mean, it's still, when Steph is going off, he's a must-watch player, obviously. They do have that kind of similar thing with Nuggets, where it's a lot of ball movement and player movement around. It's not just, it's a system, you know? But they're not executing that system very well. And really, yeah, they're a team where I made a video about the Warriors the other day. If you missed that, go back and watch it. But yeah, it's really like, you know, if Steph isn't dropping 35 or 40, they're not really winning a lot. Which is fun to see Steph go do that. but it's like it's not gonna happen all the time. I'll put them in B. The Rockets. I'd probably put the Rockets. It's very interesting because they do have a lot of young players. They have some talent, players that should be fun to watch and watchable. They're really good. They're a defensive-oriented team, you know. Their offense is solid, you know. I don't know. This one's interesting. I'll put it between B and C. Yeah, I can see them being C, kind of average watch, where it's like they're not putting up a lot of points. More of a defensive team. They have nights where sometimes they're not shooting the ball well. They're still young, you know. I don't think they won a road game yet. I'll put them in like C. The Pacers, they're the no doubt S tier. I mean, they put up a lot of points. They play really fast. Tyrese Halliburton is must-see TV. They shoot a lot of threes. They get a lot of highlight reel dunks. They don't play defense, but they are really fun. They're just gonna score a lot of points and play really fast. So that's the S tier. The Clippers. They do have Kawhi and Paul George, Harden, Westbrook. They have players that at one point were must-watch players. You know, now it's not looking amazing over there, but they're starting maybe to get it together a little bit. I would put them between B and C as well because they're not super fun to watch. Their offense has kind of been a little weird to watch, you know. But I would put the Clippers. I mean, with the roster talent alone, you're gonna watch it because Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, like those are players that a lot of people love and they're gonna watch. I mean, obviously. But personally, I'll probably put them in like the B tier. I'll probably put them in B tier. I don't think they're super fun to watch, but because their roster, I feel like they have to be a little bit higher. The Lakers. Honestly, it's fun to watch the Lakers. They're one of those teams that even when they're bad, it's fun. You know, because I feel like you either kind of, well, not for everybody, but it's either you have a lot diehard Laker fans and you have people that hate the Lakers. You know, and you have the people that love LeBron and the people that hate LeBron. So with that, it's like the fans are gonna watch because when they're good, you know, they're really fun. They got LeBron doing his thing, AD, they're hitting a bunch of threes. But even when it's bad, it's like it's fun. It's a fun bad. It's like they're turning the ball over in funny ways, giving them like I don't know. They're one of those teams where even when it's bad, it's fun. So I think you might put them in S just because of that reason. Like they have the ability where every night is a must-watch night just because they're either gonna be really good or they're gonna be really bad. It's gonna be really fun. So I'm gonna put them in. They're not having a great year this year though, but I'll put them in A. I'll put them in A just because of that. The Grizzlies, I'm gonna put them in F, honestly. Like, there's no reason to watch the Memphis Grizzlies right now. When Ja comes back, it's gonna be higher, up to a D or C, because Ja's that type of player where he's got highlight reels for forever. But right now, it's not good. It's not fun watching Memphis. You know, they don't shoot the ball well. They're actually like the worst team, like efficiency-wise. It's bad. So yeah, Miami Heat. This is another interesting one because they're a team that's not scoring a lot of points, but they're good. They're more of a defensive, gritty, like, you know, we're going to hold you to 97 points, while also we're going to score 101 points, but we're going to win, you know? So they're not necessarily a fun team to watch but it's like you got to watch them because they're good, and they're going to win a lot of games, but they're not, like, doing it in a fun way where it's like, you know, Big Jimmy's got 35, and Bam's got 28, and Tyler Hero's got 30, and they're putting up 135 points, and all that stuff. It's not like that. It's actually the complete opposite of that. But I would put them. I'll put them in like. They do have their fun moments sometimes with like late close games. They do have a lot of close games, and in a lot of close games, that's where it's more fun to watch them and Jimmy. In the playoffs, they're must watch. Playoffs are really good. But in the regular season, I'll put them in like the C tier, honestly. No, B. Even though, yeah, I'll put them B. The Milwaukee Bucks, I think they're an A. I mean, you got Giannis and Dame, obviously. Their offense, I mean, Giannis can go for 30 whenever he wants. Dame can go for 30 whenever he wants, and that's must watch. Their defense sucks, but they score a lot of points, and it's must watch for them, also because they're a really good team. So yeah, I'll put them in the A tier, maybe even S, honestly. Because when the Bucks are on, I'll be like, okay, the Bucks are on, you know. But yeah, I'll put them in A. A. The Minnesota Timberwolves. I feel like they're an A2. They're an A tier. They're good. They're a fun watch. You know, Anthony Edwards, when he's out there playing, you know, he's really fun to watch. The highlight reel dunks, the big shots. Defensively, they're going to lock in as two. I think they have both. They have the offense and the defense. You know, on offense, they're going to, you know, Anthony Edwards is going to put up his points. Karl Anthony Towns is going to have a big night sometimes. And defensively, they're going to lock in. You know, they're a really good team. Personally, I like watching Timberwolves, so I'll go A. The New Orleans Pelicans. I feel like the Pelicans should be A tier, but I'm going to put them in, I'll put them in B. You know what? I think I'm going to move one of these teams down from B to C. I think I might move the Heat down to C. I think. Yeah, I'll move the Heat down. Pelicans are in B. You know, the Pelicans have a chance to be much higher than this because the players they have. Zion, obviously, is much watch TV when he's doing the highlight reels. But even then, they have a lot of young players. You know, like last night's game was fun. Brandon Ingram, when he's going off, as Zion is, you know, doing his thing. They have guys like Trey Murphy, Jordan Hawkins, guys that can light it up. CJ McCollum can have a big night once in a while, and they can be really fun. So I'll put them in B. The Knicks, I'm putting the Knicks in C too. They're kind of similar to the Heat, where it's like they're good. They're not a super fun, you know, offense team. They're more of a grit grind. You know, get a lot of steals, blocks. Even on their offense game, like Julius Randle in the post, Jalen Brunson working one-on-one in the post, RJ Barrett one. Like, it's not very, like, it's like they shoot a lot more threes, but it's not like a fun, fat ball movement, pace offense. It's more like a slow down. All right, Julius Randle, you get your time on the corner, on the block, and go to work and do a weird fadeaway or back bully someone down low. Jalen Brunson, you get a one-on-one. You're in the post. You're the 5'10" in the post. RJ Barrett, you're on the wing where it involves in like a contested layup. Like, it's not super fun. They're not a super fun team, but they're a good team, especially defensively. If you like the grit and grind, those style games, and you can have the nights when Jalen Brunson has 40 or Julius Randle has a big night, you know. But yeah, the Thunder. The Thunder might be S tier, man. It's really fun watching the OKC Thunder. I'm putting them in S tier for me personally. I really like the OKC Thunder, watching their games. I mean, Shea, obviously he's going to drop 30. He's having a big game. Chet Holmgren, what he does on both ends is must see. Then you have the guys like Jalen Williams and freaking Lou Dort and Isaiah Joe, where, you know, they have nights where they're going to drop 130, and they're a good defense too. Like, they're offensively, defensively, in the clutch, they can do it all. You know, and they're a young, fun team, you know. So I think they're S tier. Orlando's between B and C, even though they are young, do have some fun players, but they're not like an offensive powerhouse. They're more of a defensive-oriented team that gets a lot of turnovers and steals and stuff like that, and get a lot of fast break points. So I'm gonna put them. I'll put them in B. I'll put them in B because I personally like watching the Magic. Yeah, I think they're more of a team where it's like defense. The teams that, if you like defense, the Magic are a team to watch because they're young as well. They do have their moments where they are fun though, like in the clutch. The last few games, I feel like in the clutch, they've had fun moments where Franz Wagner has 30, or Apollo has a big shot, you know, or Jalen Suggs, you know, has energy play, makes the crowd hype, like that type of stuff. But yeah, the 76ers. I'll put the 76ers. They're tough because they're good. They should be fun. The only thing that takes the fun out of it is that they shoot a lot of free throws, you know, and that kind of kills some of the vibe sometimes. I'm still gonna put them in A just because I feel like I like this new offense a lot, you know, with the more passing, more team-oriented. Tyrese Maxey has those moments that he goes off Joel Embiid when he's not flopping all the time and shooting free throws. He looks like he's gonna, you know, dominate, and you know, they do have those moments. So I'll put them in A. I'll put the Sixers in A. The Suns, I'm also going to put them in A tier. They're a fun watch. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I mean, you can watch those guys play basketball all day. They're just so smooth with it. You know, they have a lot of close games, a lot of big shots. Games where either of them can go for 40 whenever they feel like it. Yeah, they're A tier. Portland. I'll put Portland in the D tier. I don't think they're F, but I don't think they're up here. Defensively, they're good, surprisingly. Offensively, that was a lot of work. I mean, you do have the moments where Shaedon Sharpe is going off and doing stuff. We haven't had the fun moments from Scoot yet, but he's still working up there. But yeah, Jeremy Grant has his moments, and they do have some games once in a while where they are in close games, like with the Kings. They went to like overtime with them. They had another game, I think, now in the recent that was really close. in a couple games. They beat the Cavs. Like, they do have some games where they're they're competitive, but I don't think they're super fun and like as fun as they gonna be. Especially if Anthony Simons was still here and Scoot Henderson was playing a little better and doing this all the time, then I think they'd be a little higher up. But because they have a lot of injuries and stuff and they're playing a lot of guys that no one really knows, it's just kind of like The Kings are S tier to me. I mean, the Kings are super fun to watch. You know, they're a team that they score a lot of points. You know, De'Aaron Fox, really fun player. Domantas Sabonis, got guys like Malik Monk. You know, and they shoot a lot of threes. The energy when you're watching the team, especially at home. If you're watching a home Kings game, it's crazy. The energy they bring. You know, it's super fun to watch the Kings. They become one of the most fun watches, which is very surprising considering where they were the last few years. You know, now they're really fun to watch. You know, the Spurs. I'll put the Spurs in D. Yeah. Their record is bad. They've lost 14 in a row. Wemby really is the only reason to watch. People want to watch Wemby and see what he's about. But after that, I mean, they do have some young players that I like. It's just they move the ball a lot. You know, they have a lot of assists. They move the ball a lot. They have been competitive in some games. But besides that, it's like, you know, you're going to see a lot of turnovers. A lot of just young basketball being played. A lot of people that don't have a lot of experience. You know, Toronto, they're also a D tier to watch. They have no spacing. It's just a lot of clutteredness. You know, Scotty Barnes has been having a good year. After that, there's not really much reason to watch the Toronto Raptors. You know, the Jazz. I'm putting them in. Honestly, if there was like a percentage, if I had a percentage in front of me of teams I've watched this year and what percent I've watched them, the Jazz would probably be last. I've probably seen the least amount of Jazz. Like, all the teams I've watched, I think the Jazz have been the least amount of teams. I don't even think I've watched like a full Jazz game besides like the Suns game on ESPN when them and Kevin Durant, and I watched the end of the next game against the Suns. But after that, I have not really watched a lot of Utah Jazz games, honestly. Like, I've seen some things here and there. I watch a little bit, like second quarter. You know, there's like other games on, and then this game's on. I'm like, all right, I'll see a little bit of it. But I'm not going out of my way to be like, all right, the Jazz are playing this thing. Oh, let me watch it. Like, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not. And the Wizards. The Wizards, dang, also are gonna have to go in F tier, man. Like, they should be higher, just because they have Kyle Kuzma, they have Jordan Poole, players that are assumed to be fun to watch. But Jordan Poole's not having a good year. Kyle Kuzma's been really good. But after that, they cannot guard. They couldn't guard a high school team right now. You know, like, they can't guard anything. They do put up points sometimes, but not all the time. So, yeah. I feel comfortable with this list. I feel like I got the S tier. You got the fun, really, some young teams, some teams that put up a lot of points, you know. A tier, you got the other teams that are good. B tier, you got some alright teams. C tier, you got the D tier, you got the teams that like, okay, once in a while maybe. And yeah, F tier, yeah, those are the teams I don't watch a lot. But yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you know, let me know what teams you like to watch, what teams you don't like to watch. Be like, oh, and these are my personal rankings. You know, if you feel differently, that's totally fine. It's just me personally, you know. But yeah, that's it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, stuff like that. I really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.